It's time for an upcycle part 7 of my upcycled home decor hacks that anyone can do. Check it out. By now, you all know that I'm all about the thrifted frames, even if what is in it I don't want and I do not like the color of the frame, because you can bring it home and put something you want in it. And it doesn't have to be one large piece of art. Try doing a grouping of some small prints inside the frame. You can paint it and then just use a little double-sided sticky tape to actually place the art inside the frame on a piece of poster board and create your own beautiful custom little grouping. Next up, one of my favorite ways to prepare for outside entertaining in the summer: a big giant water bottle, fill it with water, and then do about 20 drops of essential peppermint oil inside of it. Shake it up, and a day or two before your party, go outside and spray it everywhere, around the chairs, the table. Also, fresh eucalyptus in your flower arrangements on the table. Mosquitoes and little bugs do not like eucalyptus. They do not like peppermint. This will look very pretty and in turn help keep all of the creatures away. When I had this sustainable dinner party, no one got bit by one single thing, and this was outside in July. Let's talk about frames again. So I got these two frames thrifting. They had glass in them, but they didn't have any backing on them. So I decided to paint them black and then put these really cool prints that I had inside of them. So I had to make a backing to hold them in place. So I just cut out a piece of cardboard and I slid it on the back side. Then I just come through with my stapler sideways, slightly at an angle, and you'll see how the staple doesn't go all the way in. And you just make sure you get it into the wood and it'll hold it in there perfectly. And then I have two custom pieces of artwork, and I didn't have to go out and buy anything to help frame it. Next up, we're going to talk about slip covers. Now, this is a little more intricate. You can use fabric glue or a straight stitch on a sewing machine. Obviously, I have full videos to show you all the details of exactly how to do this, but really it's just about making shapes, putting shapes together. You're going to measure all the sides and the middle. You're going to lay them all face down, and then you're going to come through with either fabric glue and clip it or just a straight stitch on a sewing machine like I did here. Again, I have a full video on this, but I promise you anyone can do it. You all, it is just about putting shapes together. Then once you get all of these pieces stitched or fabric glued together, you place them back on your stool to make sure everything's matching up, and then you'll come through and you'll stitch those last four sides or use fabric glue. Obviously, having it flip the other side because you always want to work from the reverse side. Again, it seems confusing. I have an entire video on it, but I promise you, I have friends that have done this and they're like, that was so much easier than I thought. And I'm like, it really is. And you can cover anything. These are old curtains that I used to cover these stools, and I think it just adds a little added, velvety chic feel to it. But you can also take things like an old blanket. This was an art chair from my mom, and I literally just patterned it out, cutting the shapes and measuring, and then stitched it together and made her this great little slip cover. So again, if you want a full video tutorial, just tell me in the comments and I will send you a link to one of these. Next up is this little ladder piece I scored for $1 at the thrift store, and some baskets and some zip ties. I wanted to make an outside little piece that I could put some plants in, and this worked perfectly. You just hold your baskets up against the rail, you use your zip ties, squeeze them tight and clip them. Then you can load them with any types of greens or flowers you want. I like to mix real flowers and real plants with faux flowers and faux plants, because then you can't really tell the difference and it helps fill in, and you have to water just a touch less. But I think it works great, and you're spending next to nothing thrifting random pieces to create a beautiful outside garden. We're on the patio. Let's talk about the little hooks I twisted into the ceiling with some thrifted chain and these secondhand lanterns that I have battery operated light bulbs in. I'm telling you guys, these types of pieces don't have to be inside. You don't have to have electrical for them. You can just put a battery operated light bulb on one remote, and it really creates such a beautiful element outside. Except just a quick little hack for planting. Now, I didn't want to plant these in here right away. I just wanted to put them in, but it wouldn't fit. But if you take a pair of scissors and cut down a couple of inches on each side of these little plastic planters, look, it'll slide right in. It'll fold in perfectly. Next up, who says you can't use a day bed outside for seating? Not me. It's kind of cool, like a little banquette. It's got that whole like Bohemian vibe. I try to buy mattresses that have a sustainable element to them, so this one was a really good find. And then cover them with a waterproof mattress cover like the ones you put on for little kids when you've got kids that you're potty training. And then use all of your other fabulous things to cozy up the space. And you can really create this really great seating outside. Next up, fringe. I love some fringe, any kind of fringe. These benches are darling, but I wanted to add a little extra something to them, so I pinned on some fringe. Then you can either hand stitch it on or you can glue it on. And since then, I've actually taken this fringe off and replaced it with red fringe. So who says you can't have a little bit of fun accessorizing your furniture? Next up, let's talk about trash cans. I have shared this one with you all so many times, and you absolutely love these trash cans that I use as planters. These are not secondhand. I got them at World Market. I absolutely love them. They're just these galvanized trash cans, and every year I put plants in them on my porch. Sometimes I'll put a Christmas tree in them. I do all sorts of fun things with them. So again, think outside the box. A planter doesn't have to be a planter. It can be something else. Let's talk about how I clean crystals. Obviously, you can dust them, but if you've got some that are really dingy, like this vintage piece that I found, take some stainless steel wipes and wipe the crystals down. Put a good coat of that stainless steel wipe on them. Then come through with a lint-free cloth, or you can even use a little piece of paper towel like I'm doing, and then buff off the stainless steel. And look how sparkly it makes it. It's hands down my favorite thing to use to clean crystals. Don't spray it right on or put it right on. Just wipe it on with a wipe and then buff it off. And literally you will have no streaks and everything will be shiny and gorgeous in like no time flat. Give this dresser another moment. Do y'all remember when I did Hoda and Jenna, the Today Show, and we reworked this dresser, this 50-year-old dresser with peel and stick paper, new knobs, plant stakes, and a little bit of paint? I wish I could have brought this piece home with me, but such a beautiful transformation. So I've already shared my vintage tissue hack trick in a previous post, but I had someone say to me, Sarah, what if I don't ever buy tissue? What if when I need to blow my nose, I use toilet paper? So this is my initial little hack where you take the tissue and you put it in a vintage glass, and it's just beautiful. My grandma used to do this. It's a very old school little trick. But I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna use toilet paper to blow your nose, then take a tissue holder, take your toilet paper, wiggle out that inside cardboard piece, and then take the toilet paper and slide it into the tissue holder. And then you can just pull up the toilet paper straight from the center of the roll. The only difference is you have to kind of rip it when you pull it up, but then you don't have to buy tissue. You can just use the toilet paper. And then what do you do with that little cardboard piece? Of course, you can use it for tons of things, but it's great for cord storage. Next up is a total random one, but I'm sharing it just because I was so proud that I figured it out. Broken lamp that my mom had. So I took it all apart and I used the two main components and I made, ta-da, a beautiful candle. I have a whole video on this, but again, it's just to show you that looking at things, they don't have to be exactly as they are. You can pull the elements apart and combine them to make other beautiful things. This next one was a really popular post. I found this huge frame from Goodwill for like $13. I came through and used some rub and buff on it, and then I took these little album covers. I thought this would be a great way to show what you could do with old CD covers, and then I just framed them inside the frame on a piece of poster board, and it's still up in my house and looks so cool. I love this piece so much. If you want the link to where I got those little cards that I used, I can give that to you if you comment link, but you could definitely use album covers of any type of CD or tape. In a previous post that I just shared last week, I shared with you guys how I turned just a piece of glass into a mirror by using that mirror effect paint and reworked this frame. But when we moved, I broke the piece of glass in it. So what am I gonna do with it now that I broke the piece of glass in it? Well, I'm gonna take another piece of glass from a frame and I'm gonna put it in there and I'm gonna put some new art in it. So just because part of a frame breaks, whether it's the glass, the mirror, the frame, you can always reuse the pieces. Next up, these that I got at Goodwill, love the way they look, but I wanted to put something a little safer than just a candle on them, so just pop off the prong and then just take a votive with a really pretty candle and put it on it. It just gives you a little bit more safety if you're not wanting to burn candles and have wax drip all over. And it adds just a pretty little glow, kind of like a little castle vibe. And last but not least, y'all know that I love to make pillowcases, and anything can be turned into a pillowcase, including pants. I thrifted these pillows. I have a whole video on how you can clean thrifted pillows. And I have a whole video on how you can make anything into a pillowcase, but I had to share this because these pants with this little chest pattern were so cool that I had to make them into pillows for my son's room. And they turned out darling. So have a little fun with it. Think outside the box. Happy upcycling.